Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Jessie and I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I am on a mission to pay off my credit card debt as quickly as possible. Originally, the goal was set to pay it off by the end of this year. We've hit a few bumps along the way and now that goal has shifted a little bit. Probably won't happen by the end of 2021, but we're still aiming to pay it off as quickly as possible. I sit down and write out a budget every single week to help us focus and work towards that goal, and I share my budgets with you guys because it keeps me motivated. It also motivates those of you who are also striving for budgeting on a regular basis. So that's what my channel's about. If you are interested in that sort of thing, I would love it if you would take a minute and click the subscribe button. So today we are going to be writing out the budget for my husband's fourth paycheck in June. What is the paycheck date that I need to know so I can write that in? Paycheck date is June 22nd. So we're going to write that in here. And actually, it's the 21st and the 22nd because in addition to my husband's income for the week, we're also going to be budgeting the income that I brought in from my YouTube channel. I make a little bit of money displaying ads on my YouTube videos. My income comes in from Google AdSense, and Google AdSense pays out on the 21st. So I did receive a paycheck this week for all of the advertisements that were displayed on my videos in May. They pay like a month behind, so I receive May's income on June 21st, and I will receive any income that I earned in June on July 21st. So lots to work with. I'm actually going to go ahead and write out the income sources here because we got quite a bit coming in from various places. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, that I don't disclose my husband's income, so I won't be filling that in. But I will let you guys know what we're working with in terms of my YouTube income and then also some other income that's coming in this week. So we're going to start out with my husband's paycheck number 4. So this will be all of the income he brought in from his full-time job. For those of you that don't know, he works in the plumbing industry as a sewer and drain cleaner. He is paid based on commission, so his paychecks fluctuate week to week. So yeah, that will be his income, which again, I'm not going to list, but know that some of the money we are working with came from his full-time job. Also, my YouTube channel, and I will tell you that from May, I earned from YouTube a total of $441.65. So not too shabby. Not my best month ever, but certainly not my worst. I filmed videos here on my channel and didn't make a dime off of them for years and years and years. I would continue to post YouTube videos if I went back to making nothing because I love it. It's an outlet for me. It's a hobby. The fact that I can do this hobby and earn a little bit of income to help my family in our debt-free journey is amazing to me. I would not have any of this income if it weren't for you watching this video right now, so thank you so much for helping my family. Every time that you click on one of my videos, you watch the ads, you leave me a comment or a thumbs up, you share my video, it helps my family, so thank you so much. The other source of income that we have is my oldest son. My son is 18 years old, living here at home. He works full-time. He takes care of his own bills and finances. He has a big boy job with big boy money, but he didn't have a whole heck of a lot of big boy responsibilities. So we charge him rent, and I use that term lightly because it's not a whole lot. It's definitely not what he would pay if he were to get an apartment or his own place by a long shot. It's just a little bit of money. It essentially helps us out with groceries throughout the month. But it's essentially just to get him used to the idea of you know, paying rent every month, we also take a portion of what he pays us and we put it into savings for him so that when he's ready to move out, he has a little bit of savings set aside. He also does his own savings. I'm going to do a whole video on my son's budget and how he handles money and how I've been sort of teaching him the ropes in terms of budgeting. But yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of income that comes in from him that we can work with this week for the budget. And so that's that. Those are kind of the areas that we're bringing money in. I'm not going to give you an income total. I just kind of wanted you to know where the money was coming from for our budget this week. And now we can start working on writing out bills. So I'm going to zoom you guys in a bit. There we go. So under this bills category, I write in anything that's going to be staying in my checking account. So the money I'm going to need to leave in to pay the bills that are due this week, but also anything that we're going to shop online for, anything we're going to be able to pay via card. I do a lot of our budgeting in cash, and you will see that when I get to these other categories, but this bills section is for those things. My checking account, essentially. So the first thing we're going to put in here is my husband's Audible subscription. My husband is an audiobook fiend. Every time I talk about his Audible subscription, I get suggestions from you guys to check out like Overdrive with the library and that sort of thing. He has done that. He consumes audiobooks from all over the place, but he really loves Audible, and he actually recently just upped his subscription to Audible from 1 book credit a month to 2 book credits a month. That's how much he's like constantly taking in books. He does a ton of driving for work. He's not a big radio guy. He likes to listen to audiobooks. So for this Audible subscription, I'm going to budget $25. I think it's a little bit less than that. I'm not 100% sure. He just recently made this switch, so this is like the first month of him having a bill that's a little bit higher. I'll have to see exactly what it is, but I'm going to budget $25 just to be on the safe side. Next up, we have my husband's motorcycle insurance. My husband does have a motorcycle, and he keeps full coverage insurance on it. And for that, we're going to budget $25 as well. Also have our car insurance due this week, so I didn't even show you guys my calendar. I take it for granted that you guys have all seen my videos before, but I know I'm always getting new subscribers, so really quickly I'll just show you my little calendar where I keep track of all of our bills and expenses, all of our spending. The paycheck date was the 22nd, so we are looking at all of the bills that fall within this week. My bills are in orange here, so I have a bunch of bills due the start of the week, and then I have just this one bill at the end of the week, and those are kind of the bills I'm accounting for here. So for car insurance, I am going to budget $170. That is full coverage insurance on our Subaru, and it's also insurance on our camper. Speaking of the Subaru, I also have a Subaru payment due this week. And for that, I'm going to budget $400. The last kind of bill that we need to take care of in this section is my Walmart card. That is a credit card that we are working on paying off. We're making extra payments to it when we can, but this is the minimum payment that is due, and for that, I'm budgeting $130. So that's kind of it for the bills, but then I also have some expenses here that I'm going to pay with my debit card. So, for example, I have my gas money. I like to purchase gas using my debit card just so that I can pay at the pump really easy. I used to take it out in cash, and it's just such a pain to have to go into the gas station and pay and then come out and pump the gas. I like being able to just swipe the card. So I include that here under the bill section, so I know that this $40 is in the bank for this reason. And that is what I'm going to budget, $40 for gas. Lastly, I have my spending money. I typically spend my money online, so it makes sense to leave it in the bank and make the purchases online versus taking it out in cash and then having to turn around and put the cash back in the bank to cover the online purchase. My spending money is $40 as well. So, I believe that's everything for under the bills category. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull up my calculator and get this all added up. I apologize for the reflections of all the lights. Trying something new with my lighting to hopefully have this video look a little bit better. I know my last few videos have been really, really dark, so you guys will have to let me know in the comment section below, how is the lighting? Is it too bright now? Is it okay? Do I still need to tweak it? This is my first video kind of filming with this setup, so hopefully it's good. Let me know. Alright, I'm going to add this up really quick, and I'm just going to kind of leave my calculator off camera so you're not seeing all the lights. 25 plus 25 plus 170 plus 400 plus 130 plus 40 plus 40 is not right. Let me try that again. 25, 25, 170, 400, 130 plus 40 plus 40. Okay. So, oh, that is right. Okay. $830. I'm sorry, you guys. I was looking at my little cheat sheet here, and it's my little cheat sheet that's wrong, not this. So that's good. A lot of times I sit down and I film, I'm sorry, a lot of times I sit down before I film and I write out like a rough draft budget, just kind of off the top of my head, brain dump style, get it all written down, and sometimes I make mistakes. You guys will notice a pattern with that. I make a lot of mistakes, so you're likely to see one in this video. Alright, next up we have my cash envelope section. So this is the money that we pull out of the bank to spend this week. We also pull money out of the bank to keep in cash for our sinking funds, which is more like savings, but the envelopes is money we're going to physically spend this week. And the first category that I have here is very different for me. This is not something I have done in a very long time, but we are actually going to take our food budget out in cash this week. And notice I wrote food and not grocery because we are going to shift our mindset a little bit with the budget moving into July especially. I've got a ton of budget changes coming, which I know you guys are excited to see. But one of the things that we are definitely trying to change our perspective on is our food budget. For a long time, I was budgeting, you know, bare minimum for groceries. I was also giving us money eating out, money for eating out rather, and trying to spend as little as possible in that area. And the thing that I've come to realize is, number one, I'm feeding a family of 4 with 3 men, essentially. My oldest son is 18, as I mentioned. My youngest son is 13, but eats like he's 18. Plus I have my husband to feed and myself. Grocery prices have gone way up. I cannot budget $150 a week, especially in the summer when we're all home a lot more, and expect that to feed my family. So what I was trying to do was, you know, not eat out to kind of make up the difference, and then that was failing because we're busy. Sometimes we have to eat out. So I just need to shift my mindset. So what I'm going to try for this week is just having a food budget. This can be groceries. This can be eating out. It can be whatever. If it's food, it's going to be under this umbrella. And I'm going to budget $200 this week. I'm not going to lock myself into a certain amount of money every week. This is where I've been struggling with my budget because I get it in my head that I have to budget, you know, $40 for gas every week. And that's just not true. Sometimes I might need more gas. Sometimes I might need less gas. So I'm trying to shift my mindset a little bit and change the way that I look at the budget. I don't have to have a set amount that I spend on food every week. This week it might be $200. Next week, depending on what we have going on, we might have to budget $400. I'm going to allow it to be fluid, and I'm going to, I think, start tracking my expenses and looking at a big picture. Like, a lot of times I'm just looking at the week in one little snapshot, but I need to be looking at overall spending. So I need to be looking at how much we spent on food for the month, because, you know, this week I may spend $200 and really stock us up, and then next week I only need to spend $50. And so rather than beating myself up on the weeks when I spend more, I need to just shift my mindset. I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling, but I've been really taking a deep dive into the way that I think about money, the way that I think about budgeting, and trying to change my perspective. So for food, we're going to pull it out in cash this week, which is something I haven't done in a long time. I'm really nervous about it, but I've been doing more shopping in person since everything is kind of opened up again. We just had all of our COVID restrictions kind of canceled here in Michigan, so we're going to see how this goes. The great thing about this is that I budget weekly, so if this doesn't work out, I only have to commit to it for a week. Next week I can change it again. So food, $200. Next, I have my husband's spending money. He likes to take his spending money in cash, and he gets $40. I have my son Austin, his allowance, he gets $20 a week, so I need to budget for that. We also have our lawn care. We could cut our own grass, but darn it, we don't want to. I keep getting comments on my videos saying, why don't you just cut your own grass? You'll save money. Well, I don't want to do it. My boys are all too busy to do it, and it's worth it to me to pay the $20 to have it done. So that's that. Lastly, for this cash envelope section, I have my miscellaneous budget. I like to have, you know, $20 on hand for anything that comes up that I didn't think to budget for. I was looking back at some older budget videos, and I used to budget $50 a week for miscellaneous, which is wild to me to think about that we did it that way, but we also had a lot of other major changes in our budget that we've come a long way since then. Right now, we're budgeting $20 a week just to have an emergency 20 on hand in case something comes up. So that's everything for my cash envelopes. We're going to add this up quickly. 20 plus 40 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20 is 300. I don't even think you guys can see that. Apologies. But that is how much we are going to pull out of the bank for our cash envelopes. Seems like a lot to me, but I have to remember that typically this food budget is up here under bills, so that's why. It's not really more, it's just allocated differently. Alright, next up we have sinking funds. If you're not familiar with sinking funds are little mini savings accounts for things that we know are coming up in the future that we want to prepare for. So we put a little bit of money aside in various categories for these things that inevitably come up. I'm going to be making, again, major changes to my sinking funds in July. I'm really excited about it. Definitely trying to shake things up for the second half of 2021. Be on the lookout for a video on that, but for now, we're still sticking with our typical way of doing things, and so we're going to be adding some money to a handful of our sinking funds. First one being our campground sinking fund. We are going to be adding $50 to that. My husband's sinking fund is going to get $50 as well. We also have my vacation sinking fund. We're kind of topping this fund off a little bit right before we go on vacation, so we're going to add $50 to that. Next up, I have YouTube. So when I talked about my YouTube income, what I failed to mention is that this $441.65 that I earned is gross. It's not taxed. So I need to set aside the taxes myself for when I file my taxes. And so I always keep 30% of my income back for taxes. So it was $441.65 30% of that is $132.49, so I'm going to round it up, and I'm going to put $133 into my YouTube sinking fund for when I file my taxes. And lastly, I have my son, Robert. So I don't typically write this in my budget. It's just something I kind of do on my own, but I thought I would go ahead and write it in this week and let you guys know that when my son, Robert, pays his rent, that little bit of money that he pays towards us, we actually take a portion of that and we put it into savings for him for in the future someday when he wants to move out or whatever. He doesn't even really know that we're doing this. But, you know, having him pay rent helps him be responsible, but we really want to make sure that, you know, he's good to go for the future. So we're going to set aside $50 for him from that money, so that gets written into the budget as well. All right, let's go ahead and add this up. 50 plus 50 plus 50. 133 plus 50 is $333. Into our sinking funds this week. Next up, we have our extra debt. So as I mentioned, we pay all the minimum payments on our credit cards, but then we also aim to make extra debt payments to the card we're currently working on, which is a Walmart card. So we are going to send our Walmart card an additional $150 this week. So in addition to the minimum payment that is due this week, we're also going to send that extra $150. And the very last thing that we are going to write in here under this extra savings category is our rollover amount. I'm not going to fill this in, but essentially what we have left from our income sources after we pay all of this, that will get rolled over into next week. Because my husband is paid based on commission, we like to roll money over week to week to help us account for if his paycheck is going to be on the lower end, or, you know, if he can't work for whatever reason, he doesn't get paid. So we like to roll money over to help us compensate for that. He does have a week's paid vacation coming up, but in general, like if he doesn't work, if he has to take the day off to go to an appointment or whatever, he does not get paid for that. He is paid based on commission. So if he's not doing any jobs, he can't take a percentage of them, right? So yeah, that is a look at our budget for the week. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a really good week. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening to me ramble. I know that I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I appreciate your support so much. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!